Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment.
Hello, my name is Mike, and today's show is brought to you by our Amazon page. Please remember to shop at MikeO'MaraShow.com/Amazon. It's quite simply the best way to support this show. If you need it, Amazon has it, and you can get it at MikeO'MaraShow.com/Amazon. Bookmark it, please.
Available on demand every day in iTunes and the Google Play Store, and around the world on MikeO'MaraShow.com. What more can we do for you? It's the Mike O'Mara Show.
I told you to turn your ringer off.
It is off.
Oh, that's the studio line.
That's the show phone.
Oh. You want me to get it?
Yeah, get it, please.
Right. Hello?
Hello?
Oh.
Yes, who's calling?
This is Donald Sterling.
Oh, Donald.
Oh. Wow, this is a surprise.
Yeah. I'm returning a call from a Rob Spwack.
Rob Spiewak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm making some calls.
I'm surprised you're calling us, actually.
I'm returning the calls of various members of the media selectively. It's random. I have too many requests, and there are too many requests.
Settle down.
All right.
You seem to be, I thought you were on media silence. I saw you coming out of Fleming's Steakhouse the other night.
Yeah, that big mistake.
What was that? Why was that a mistake?
Oh, come on. You know why that was a big mistake? Because the cameramen were out. The cameramen were out there.
Hold it. Who were out there?
The cameramen.
Oh, the paparazzi.
Oh, yeah. If you want to make that kind of guinea comment, that's fine with me.
Whoa.
Hey, what? What's the problem? I love the Italian people. I love their pastas, and I like the fact that, the fact that the whole lot of them are in the mafia. It's no skin off my ass.
Mr. Sterling, that's not a fair characterization.
And that's not okay.
Oh, come on now. Why is everybody so sensitive?
I can tell you're upset. You know why we called you.
Why are you upset? Where are you from, for the love of God?
I'm from Bolivia, Latin America.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
There you go what?
Now, see, you know.
I don't.
That means he smokes and he drinks all day, and then he doesn't have any family structure.
No, that's far from the truth. He doesn't smoke. He has a wonderful family.
Okay, well, where are you from?
Myself?
Rob?
I was born right here in these United States.
Yeah, but where are your ancestors
my
from?
people?
Come on, don't play cute with me. I'm a businessman. I know when people are lying. Don't BS a BSer.
The Spiewaks have their heritage in Warsaw, Poland.
Poland? Okay. Well, I'm surprised you made it to work.
Hey!
I'm surprised you could get out of your car. Does
that BS stand for bigot?
I don't like that word, and it's a word that's being thrown around at me, and I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm certainly not going to tolerate it from the fella from Bolivia.
All right, well,
that's for sure.
Let's change the subject.
Welcome to our country. What we've done for the Bolivian people.
What have we done for the Bolivian people?
Done, well, I don't know right now. I'm not quite sure. I don't know.
I'm going to change the topic then.
Yeah.
I know you're estranged from your wife.
Can I say this?
Yes.
I have a tremendous amount of esteem and respect for the Italian people. And that was a slip of the tongue which came at a very inopportune moment for me and the Clippers organization, of which I am still a part.
Okay,
I'm still a part.
I would love to see a picture of you on your Instagram with Al Pacino. Do you think you could do that to prove that you like Italian people?
Sure, I've met Al. I've met Al. I own a basketball team in Los Angeles. Of course, I've met Al Pacino.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Sterling. You have had so much phenomenal success in the business world. This news as of late has clearly given you the worst news you could think of professionally. And this all came from a relationship. Did you ever see this coming? A relationship has caused your demise.
Oh, yeah, that lady.
The evil vagina is what it is.
Is that what the V stands for?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the big evil vagine. I will tell you, I'm not happy about it. It's frustrating. I don't care if I never have to have a woman in my company anymore. I'm gonna be happy. She's Satan.
Well,
with
I don't
what
know.
she's done to me. And I will tell everyone, you stay away from women. If we could further the species with a series of laboratories and test tubes, we would be a happier sex as a bunch of men, because every woman, you mark my words, not only are they not as bright as we are,
Now, easy.
and I think that's been documented, but the fact is they're in a situation where all they want to do is run us down.
Now,
They want to run us down because, because all they want is a penis. That's all they want. That's the way they look at things.
Do they want your penis?
Yeah, sure. I mean, and I'm not talking about you're going somewhere sexual. I'm not doing that.
No. I would never.
I'm talking. They want to have what we have. That's the point I'm trying to make. Do you understand?
Now
How
I
about
do.
let me tell the guy from Bolivia. They want to have what we have.
You don't
Am I
have to,
making
speak slow. I understand English.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry.
Let me ask you this.
I've been saying that a lot
Can't
lately.
you admire them from afar, though? Why do you have to get involved?
Yeah, I can admire them from afar, but I don't like to talk to them anymore, because I've been sitting in my room. And I've been eating donuts for the last 2 days.
How many
I'm
donuts?
distraught. Huh?
How many donuts?
How many donuts? Are you a large man? Is that why you're asking that question?
would
That's
say
a
you
fat
would-
man question.
I would
huh?
say,
sweatshirt
Donald,
today?
you and I have a similar physique, I would guess.
Yeah, okay. We have a similar physique. We'll put a picture up. Send me a picture of you, and I want to see your
I'll
physique.
put it on Instagram.
Yeah, okay. Put it on Instagram. No, I don't care. I told my lady I don't want her associating with black people, and I don't want her associating with fat people either. Fat people on Instagram. How about we throw in Jews, Italians, the Irish, everyone else, as a matter of fact.
Hey, I saw your lady on TV. She had almost like a Daft Punk helmet and roller skates, so she seems to be handling it well. Have you been in touch with her?
I tell you, if I was her, I'd hide too.
Yeah.
Why do you have to put your pictures up on Instagram, Rob?
I don't.
What do you have to do? Why do you have to go to Facebook and tell everybody you're going to King's Dominion, for the love of Christ?
I've got a quick
Do
question.
you follow me on
Yes,
Facebook?
Oscar. Go ahead. No, I don't. What?
I was curious. You mentioned within some of the phone calls we heard on the news that your dentist, or was it a guy named Dennis?
Dennis the dentist.
Oh,
funny.
Dennis. Okay,
Funny,
Dennis the
isn't it,
dentist.
huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
He told you that he saw pictures of your girlfriend with them.
Yeah, them. And I said, well, first of all, get your fingers out of my mouth. And secondly, what am I supposed to do with that? They're all over the place, first of all. You see them everywhere.
They are.
Who's them?
Yeah, who's that?
I don't think, my lawyer has informed me that it's not a good idea for me to go into specifics.
Right.
But let me just say, they are everywhere, including the highest office in the land. They are taking over, and I think that, and I told her, look, I don't care if you want to sleep with them, eat with them, don't bring them to my games, and don't put them on the Instagram.
Right.
And for God's sakes, don't have them out in front of the Flemings when you've had your steak dinner, when the cameramen are out there as well. Start the goddamn show, please.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show. You can listen to the Mike O'Mara Show at www.mikeomarashow.com.
Stay tuned for an outstanding entertainment program.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show.
Let's get down to business.
From the entertainment capital of the world, Mr. Hobbs. Come in. Come in. We meet at 11.
This is a swell office.
Mere creature comforts.
Could use a little more light, though.
Please pardon the absence of light. You see, as a youngster, I was frightened of the dark, and I used to wake up sobbing in it as if it was water, and I was drowning in it. But as you will observe, I have so thoroughly disciplined myself against that fear that now I much prefer a dark room.
The only thing I know about the dark is you can't see in it.
A pure canard.
What's a canard?
A prevarication.
What does that mean?
A lie. You can see, you know.
Well, not good enough.
You see me, don't you?
Maybe I do, maybe I don't.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show. Mike O'Mara, Rob Spiewak, Oscar Santana. And now, from his easy chair, here's Mike.
Live from the Cappy Piper Studios, this is the Mike O'Mara Show! Broadcasting all over the planet, we are powered by Encore Insurance Services with over 23.5 million downloads. We're at MikeO'MaraShow.com, and we're heard over the air on the mighty 1630 KCJJ in the heart of the Heartland. Go. Hey, Rob, tell us all about the KCJJ listener of the day.
It's so great to be on the air on KCJJ, and I know one person who's listening today, and that's the Mike O'Mara Show KCJJ listener of the day, Delta Richardson.
Delta Richardson, a big hello from the Mike O'Mara crew. The Mike O'Mara Show is a daily radio show and podcast with the greatest listeners in the world. Why?
Why is that, boy?
Because they get it, everybody. Yes, sirree. Fantastic. Great to be with you. The Mike O'Mara Show. Great to be with you on a fabulous Wednesday, aren't we, everybody? I tell you, we are sure excited. Yes, sir. Yippee-yi-yo-ki-yay. All right, anyway. The show today is brought to you by Northern Virginia Community College.
Yes. Tell me more.
Did you know that 80% of all cardiac events happen in Rob's home?
80% in my house. That's right.
I'm sorry.
And 70% of them are me.
I put Rob's home, and I meant the home.
That's right.
So chances are the life you save will be someone you love. That is, if you know how to save them. Luckily, the NVCC, that's Northern Virginia Community College, they know how to do it because they're teaming up with the American Heart Association, and it's a training center that's there to help you. It's their Heart Saver First Aid and CPR with AED hybrid course. It is a great way to get certified. You can complete the lecture portion online. I love that part.
Yes.
And your schedule, and then complete your skills practice and testing when it's convenient for you. They also have the best instructors to make sure you are 100% confident in your abilities to respond to an emergency. And it's not just for adults. Starting in 2016, high schoolers will have they'll have to be CPR certified to graduate. So get ahead of the game. The first 50 TMOS listeners to register for the hybrid course get the online code free. That's a $40 value. Act right now. Just do it for fun because knowledge is always fun. It's good to know things. But learning is a very, very good thing to do, and you improve yourself and all that good stuff that follows. And right now, the first 50 listeners to the Mike O'Mara Show will get it for free. Act now. Click the NVCC AHA banner at MikeO'MaraShow.com for more information and to contact our wonderful April, our wonderful friend. Be sure and ask about her BLS renewal and the 4-for-3 deal for business groups. Just remember our code TMOS. Do it today because CPR is a way of life. Well, hail, hail, the gang's all here. A busy, busy day in the world of race relations. You know, whenever we do a bit around something that controversial, I always feel like we are wading into a bit of a minefield, and today was no exception. I'm looking at both of you guys, and I suddenly realized that I came up with the idea for the bit.
Right.
You guys are immediately thrown into this with maybe a minute and a half's notice. And I'm looking at both of you guys, and I saw on both of your faces we are walking into a minefield.
Well,
and I suddenly, in the middle of the bit, I said, Michael, you're on your own here. You're completely alone.
Well,
as
this
much
may
as I'm
shock
working
you.
Collaboratively.
This may shock you, but
I thought we did a great job.
If let's say
I thought it came out great in the wash, but it was the early part that I was a little.
Well, we weren't. I didn't know you were going to throw out racial epithets. I didn't know you were going there.
Epithets.
Whatever.
Epithets. Epitaph is that's a biggie, Oscar.
Yeah.
Epithets is the slanderous words. Epitaph is what you put on your tombstone.
Yeah, a racial.
Oh my God! So epitaph isn't.
If you lay that one out there, the only reason I'm stopping the show right now
Yes.
to clear it because you're going to really sound like a dumbass if you say it again because it's epithet is a.
Oh,
is
I can't
really
even pronounce that.
You're speaking an epithet.
I can't know.
Okay, but the other thing, the other thing, Oscar, would be like.
Hold on, slow down,
Yeah.
Bobo. Hold on, EPITHET.
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 It's one of those
That's
words
exactly.
that always
It feels
sounds like
so
you're slurring.
Wrong. Epithet.
Epithet.
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, Officer Epithet. Now I haven't been drinking.
The other thing he said would be like, "Here lies a Jew, rest in peace." That would be a racial epitaph.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. He was a wonderful black.
So
That would be a racial epitaph.
So epithet Oh, God. I don't even know.
You got it.
Epitaph is what's on what? What's an
Neil
epitaph?
Faber, knowledge is good. On
okay.
Well, that's on his statue,
Yeah,
not
it's
on
on a
his
tombstone. It has to be on a tombstone, right?
So,
Right.
and then epithet is a racial slur.
Yeah, yes, epithet is a racial slur. Epitaph is here lies,
All these
Bones
years.
McGee, and yes,
So
right.
Epitaph Records wasn't a racial slur?
No.
I'm an idiot.
No,
And to be-
Epitaph Records is like they die, right?
Wow.
And to be more specific, an epithet, I think, is just a brief phrase. A racial epithet is a brief phrase about race. It says an epithet doesn't always have to be a racial slur
So
or a reference to race.
when you mentioned the Italians at the open of the show, was that a slur or an epithet?
The Italian thing was an epithet
Okay, good to know.
because it
Wow.
was a negative term for Italian Americans.
I bet you
which-
that I'm not the only person listening right now that did not know epitaph and epithet.
I think you might be.
I bet you it's a common mistake.
An adjective
foreigners.
or descriptive phrase expressing a quality characteristic of the person or thing mentioned. So if you say, you could conceivably say he's quite a character. That's an epithet.
Sure.
Oh,
sure.
wow.
Right, but not
But
a racial.
a racial epithet is usually used in a derogatory term.
So what Donald
Sense.
Sterling did was a series of epithets.
No, Donald Sterling made some racist statements.
Admire them from afar. That's an epithet.
No,
No.
Oh,
no, because you're actually Rob. Can you help me out here?
It is if he were to use a phrase. Let's say he met a Martian on the street,
Yes.
and he didn't care for Martians,
Yes.
and he didn't want his hot girlfriend to be photographed with Martians.
Yes.
He said, "You know what? Martians are stupid and useless."
Oh.
That's an epithet
Okay.
about the Martian.
Here's a better
okay?
definition, dictionary definition.
Thank you.
An epithet or byname is a descriptive term, word or phrase, accompanying or occurring in place of a name and having entered common usage.
That makes
So
sense. So it's
the-
more like
that-
a slur,
yeah.
like a
It's a slur.
like a spick or a wetback, right?
It's a slur.
I can say that because I'm Spanish.
Yeah,
you
of
know,
course
or
you can.
Latino.
I'm going to
I
stay
think
away from it.
It's a slur.
Rob just got so uncomfortable. Oh my God, and Pony, they just froze.
It can be described as a glorified nickname. It has various shades of meaning when applied to seemingly real or fictitious people, divinities, objects, and binomial nomenclature.
What if we were to call you, Mike, the Mimic? That would be an epithet,
Yeah,
But
probably.
not a racial epithet.
but not a racial epithet.
There lies the difference.
If he called me the Mick, that would be a racial.
Yeah.
Or if you were to
epithet.
call me the Pollock,
Yeah.
which I
That
would
would be a
never
racial
expect you
epithet.
to do.
Okay, well, I'm glad we cleared that up. All things
Let
we
me-
shouldn't be doing.
In contemporary usage, epithet often refers to an abusive, defamatory, or derogatory phrase, such as a racial epithet. The less offensive use is criticized by Martin Manser and other prescriptive linguists. Wow, this is well. You go on the internet, you get what you get. So there he goes.
Well, I appreciate the heads up here. I probably have used epitaph a bunch of times in my life, and I'm a big dummy for it.
Well, no, maybe you'll be all right if you were perhaps to put a epithet on your tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
Then it would become an epitaph.
Here lies a hardworking brown guy.
one
Right
of
on
the
my
things
tombstone.
that I truly love about the new setup, where I can look in a camera, though, I'd like to change the subject if I may.
Sure. Mhm.
Because one of the things I talk about is the fact that I can see you guys so clearly, and I would like to really delve into something that has nothing to do with Oscar,
Okay.
nothing to do with Rob. It has to do with Ponyboy and his obsession with Nosferatu. Which he is now looking at during the middle of the show. Yes, now you know it's too late. You can't click off it now, Pony. Click back to it. Yeah, leave it there because I'm watching you do
I
that.
know
You
what's
see,
happening.
and by the way, I want you to keep that monitor exactly where it is every day because this is a wonderful way of me
Oh, you see
knowing
what he's
how
actually
engaged
doing.
you
Are
are.
you running
in
the
show.
cameras or just doing other work?
Well, let me. I've got a little insight on this
Okay.
because last night Pony was commenting on Donald Sterling looking. Was it looking a little bit like Nosferatu?
No, it's the NBA commissioner.
Silver.
The NBA commissioner Silver
Yeah.
looking like Nosferatu.
Adam Silver, Mike.
So is that why? So Pony gets a complete pass, but it just seems to me that you made that little gag and you are still looking at the pictures of Nosferatu. Are you assuming that at some point on the show we're going to be talking about the new NBA commissioner, Pony?
But
Well,
may
I
I jump
figured it
in,
might
Pony,
come up.
with a guess? I think Pony is already picking out the photograph for today's show. He was thinking ahead that way. I've always thought that Adam Silver looked less like Nosferatu than our old intern Josh Murphy at times.
Well, let's get back to that. So we haven't talked about, which Silver? What's his first name?
Adam
Silver. We haven't talked about Adam Silver. Are you assuming that at some point we might have talked about Adam Silver?
I figured it'd probably come up.
Okay. All right. So you get a free pass.
And if it came up, would you have piped in and said, don't you think the NBA commissioner looks like Max Schreck as Nosferatu in the old horror film? Don't you think so, fellas?
Who the F is Nosferatu?
Show Oscar the picture of Nosferatu.
Historically,
I can Google him.
It's the first Dracula movie.
Oh my God!
He's creepy as hell.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
From 1922. We're really relevant.
The
Jesus
reason that
Christ.
I'm going so easy on Pony, that imagery of that horror movie has been shown throughout the decades, and I am also a little obsessed because really, they got creepy so right. Can you imagine, Pony, how terrified audiences back in the day when they first saw that would have been? Because to be honest with you, you look at that, and they did such an amazing job in. Am I talking about the 30s, the 20s, maybe?
1922. It was a German expressionistic film in 22, and no one had ever seen anything like it.
1922. I would imagine audiences in the theater, you felt like you were looking at a real creature. It had to be absolutely terrifying.
There is one particular shot in the film where they show him in silhouette going up steps. I know you know the shot. And you see his claws and his bulbous head, and it's horrible. Now, you know, my father's grandfather ran a movie theater. And in 1930 or so, when Frankenstein came out, there were actually people passing out during the laboratory sequence because there had never been a scene with that kind of action and the cutting and the angles of shooting in the laboratory. It had never been seen before, and what is laughable now was really, really upsetting to people in 1930. So, yeah.
Well, the Frankenstein is laughable, but the thing about Nosferatu, which came decades earlier, is that it is still a horribly scary image. And I don't think I've ever watched that movie from beginning to end. It's a silent movie, and it is, and it's really scary.
Yeah,
it's a scary
I just found
image.
it on YouTube for free. It's so in demand.
So the commissioner of the NBA yesterday comes down with the hammer on Donald Sterling, and it was swift. I said that in the opening, that NBA justice is swift. In order to force Donald Sterling to sell the L.A. Clippers, 3/4 of the other owners would have to vote for that to happen. That's 23 of the 29 non-Sterling owners, and a lot of people are yes, Rob.
I was going to say, would you like to hear the audio of Adam Silver speaking? Because we do have the band. I'm sorry.
All right.
I had my hand up.
All right. Yeah, I know you did. Go ahead. Go ahead. Play it. Play the audio.
Effective immediately, I am banning Mr. Sterling for life from any association with the Clippers organization or the NBA. Mr. Sterling may not attend any NBA games or practices. He may not be present at any Clippers facility, and he may not participate in any business or player personnel decisions involving the team.
That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be.
There it is. You're in the majority, Oscar. Most people are agreeing with you. I agree with you. I think it's good that it's so refreshing to see somebody who behaves badly, get what they deserve very quickly. He's not going to suffer.
This
at all.
isn't
He's got
his
all the money in
first
the world.
time. This isn't his first. He's chronicled. And this goes that clip actually goes on. And then talks about institutional racism, and that's something I never actually thought about before. But if you look at his track record, and what
in the housing industry,
and what this message is sending, I think to all these closet bigots out there is that if you think just because you have enough money you can get away with anything, and it's okay to be a certain way, or you're older, so the people are going to give you a pass, because a lot of people do that. Be like, what? They're not going to change. That's just the way they are.
Yeah,
right.
That's not
the thing
okay.
The thing about the angle that I wanted to come at this on today came out of our good old friend Mark Cuban, because from an outsider's perspective, it would seem like a slam dunk as far as the owners vote unanimously, because the bylaws in the NBA, they're able to kick this guy out. But this here article right here says there's a chance and I was completely blown away by this, that they won't do it. Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban hasn't explicitly said how he'd vote, but it sounds like he's not on board. Listen to this. He said it's, quote, damn scary to consider removing somebody from the NBA because of their private thoughts. He went on, quote, what Donald said was wrong. It was abhorrent. There's no place for racism in the NBA, and I don't want to be associated with people who have that position. But there's a very, very, very slippery slope. If it's about racism and we're ready to kick people out of the league, okay. Then what about homophobia? What about somebody who doesn't like a particular religion? What about somebody who's anti-Semitic? What about xenophobe? You've got to be very, very careful when you start making blanket statements about what people say and think privately as opposed to what they do publicly. If we're taking something somebody said in their home and we're trying to turn it into something that leads you to being forced into divest property in any way, shape, or form, that's not the United States of America. I don't want to be a part of that. In this country, this is a quote from Mark Cuban, people are allowed to be morons. So, the only reason I bring that up before you comment on it, Oscar, the only reason I bring that up is for the fact that you're hearing a lot of theories about how the NBA owners are going to vote, and
Mark Cuban, I respect him. I think he's a brilliant businessman. He has a great point that it's a slippery slope. But I say this to that. One, I think he's absolutely wrong. And I respect the fact that he has the balls enough to come out and say, yes, if you say something in your home and it's private, you shouldn't be penalized publicly, regardless of what it is. And he doesn't agree with racism or anything. Then he owns the team. He's very powerful within the league himself. But I can't believe that he's gone out of his way to choose this moment to talk about it. Because
he's a Maverick, he's just like his team.
He's going to be in the minority because no owner is going to want to be associated, even if you're standing up for what the civil liberties of this country stand for, which is freedom of speech. I would say if you want that type of kind of business leeway, then get into business that doesn't serve the public and doesn't depend on the public of supporting your business.
And furthermore, it's not like this guy doesn't have a history that precedes him. And if he does have a history, and this sort of verifies what had already been implied, and that's putting it lightly, this is not a slippery slope. This is wrong. The man signed an agreement that said if he did anything that harmed his partners, and essentially all 30 teams are partners in the NBA, he signed a contract that said he's responsible if something like this comes out.
And he's got a track record. He's paid out. And if anybody knows...
It's not a slippery slope. What it is, it's a business decision.
What happens when you do something like this? And I'm not just talking about an NBA player. We all remember what happened with Mel Gibson.
Right.
That it was, at first, it was like, oh, he was hammered. And then all these other stories started coming out that he was just kind of a monster. And then when he, again... another troll wife or a girlfriend comes around and all those tapes get released. Everyone says he's a monster. The man still has not recovered his career yet. It's been almost 10 years of this nonsense.
Right, right. And we live in a society now that has changed to a certain degree where you get caught on a certain subject, and the subject happens to be race, and you're pretty well screwed. It's not acceptable anymore. We finally have gotten beyond that. We've finally gotten to the point where if you are, and I don't want to call making movies the public trust, but certainly a professional sports franchise is the public trust.
Sure.
You are dealing with the public trust there. You are dealing with, you couldn't go into the Clippers stadium because of your private views and put up swastikas and do that type of thing. You wouldn't be allowed. Because it's the public trust, this is where this asshat comes into a different world. And I disagree with Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban's kind of looking at it as, I have to divest my property because I said something stupid. No, you're divesting your property because it went public.
You're in a business that relies on the public.
And and it's the public trust. So you are. It's a different set of rules. It's a different set of rules because he benefits from the public trust. He benefits from the fact that the public goes to the games, and if they win a championship, that he's that he gets all that business. His business improves because of the public.
He's on TV because of his persona,
of course,
and the public eye that he put himself in as the owner of the Mavericks. Now he has Shark Tank. That didn't happen because it probably wouldn't have happened if he didn't own the Mavericks and he wasn't so public.
Yeah. Right, exactly. And I think that's where being a sports franchise owner differs. And to a certain, now, when it comes to Mel Gibson, you're in the public eye, and the public basically boycotted him, and the industry boycotted him, and that's how he was punished because of his stupid anti-Semitic comments. In this guy's case, you've got a commissioner, you've got a person. There's no commissioner of movies. There's the Motion Picture Association.
Well, they got together and did their own thing. They said, this guy's not going to work anymore.
I
did
disagree.
it this way.
I think Kevin McCarthy, Mike. I think Kevin McCarthy is the commissioner of movies.
BDK. But the fact is, I think that because it's the public trust is why the NBA can act swiftly. And, when he says in this country people are allowed to be morons, I think it's incredibly I don't disagree with that. I totally agree with Mark Cuban. But I think it's refreshing as all hell when the morons get their just due, when they're out there spewing their racial hatred and they're making these kind of comments. I think it's great. Now, the thing about our society also now is with everybody having a mouthpiece and everybody having a pulpit with social networking, it is astonishing to me that this man is being defended in certain quarters the way he's being defended. It really is. It's just astonishing. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Will you entertain one question? And I'm
curious.
Then
we got to go to
okay,
break.
I know.
We can do that. Yeah, let's ask that question when we come back on the other
it.
side of the break. We will do that, and we'll come back with more on this, and then we'll talk a little bit about Craig Ferguson as well with CBS. You're listening to the Mike O'Mara Show. Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show. When I was just a little O'Mara.
When was that?
I'm pretty. Back when they were making Nosferatu.
I'm pretty sure
that my sister Kathy was Mom's favorite. And then Rob put in parentheses ad-lib examples.
Well, I mean, I know you have dozens after reading the book. I know for a fact.
No, the funny part is I will read that as ad-lib examples.
No.
And frankly, the competition
hasn't stopped to this day. But look out, Kathy. I'm going to be child numero uno starting now, thanks to Pro Flowers, and you can do it too. Show your love with 1 dozen rainbow roses with a free glass vase from proflowers.com for just $19.99. I love that Pro Flowers holds their price point every year. Or go bigger, double the roses, that's doppel, plus the free glass vase and chocolates for just $9.99 more. All you have to do is use our code TMOS to get this special Mother's Day deal. Order now while supplies last. Remember, Pro Flowers are the freshest and the prettiest. Easy to order. Just select your arrangement, pick your delivery date, and it's guaranteed. And Pro Flowers are also guaranteed to last a week or your money back. Nobody does that. Here's the only way to get this amazing Mother's Day deal. Go to the proflowers.com website. It's proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right-hand corner and type in TMOS. That's proflowers.com. Click the blue microphone and type in TMOS, your favorite code. This deal expires Friday at midnight, so make sure you order today. Show your siblings why you're Mom's favorite child this Mother's Day with a winning bouquet from proflowers.com. In your face, Kathy. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Before the show ends today, we will tell you, before we get out of here, remind me to do it, Rob.
Yes.
All about our Mother's Day Madness contest that we are running here at the Mike O'Mara Show. You're going to get a chance to win some lovely flowers. So we're going to do that for you before the show's over today.
Well, we always say, Mike, listen and win. Now, my question for you is this.
Yes.
When they get eventually, I guess it'll take a week or so, or whenever the owners get together to vote, there'll be 30 votes as to whether or not it'll decide Mr. Sterling's fate, his fate.
Right.
Obviously, I'm thinking right now the vote is going to be at least 29-1 because Sterling is going to vote for himself.
Can you imagine if the guy that doesn't vote for him, that becomes public? They got to.
Well, I was going to say, do you think Cuban, with this statement, will be ballsy enough to cast a vote against, even though it would just be a symbolic vote? It'll obviously be a symbolic vote because they only need 3/4.
I think Mark Cuban, everything that I just read, every quote that I just read from Mark Cuban is indicative of the fact that he might very well vote that way.
Not if he starts seeing some blowback. It's not a smart business move.
Yeah.
It's not a smart business move at all.
What they traditionally do in these meetings
doesn't mean he won't do it.
Is even if the vote is stratified and it's split, say there is some dissension, like 2, they'll have them vote again to make sure that when they go to the press, it's unanimous.
Yeah, because, there's like a theory in Congress that sometimes people will vote against what they believe to be a part of the majority because they don't want to be singled out as the one person that was against it because it's going to just call attention to the fact you're on the losing side. And I am really curious, A, if it will be a total secret vote, and B, if it's not, if Cuban will stick to his guns.
Well,
because you know what?
He's
a talker. This guy is a talker, and he might have just issued this press release because people are going to talk about it.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like I understand the premise and the thought behind that type of statement, but maybe do it after the guy gets the boot.
Well, I was going to say, Mike himself said, I mean, you question the timing of the statement.
Well, no, I want to take it off Donald Sterling for a second.
Okay.
Because the fact is, I agree that I think they're going to vote overwhelmingly, probably a majority. But I mean, when you read Mark Cuban, that's the only reason I would say that. Otherwise, I would have said they're all going to vote unanimously. But I will say this, that whenever there's a situation like this where we have the pariah, where we have the Mel Gibson, or we have the Paula Deen, or we have the Donald Sterling, it always just makes me realize how many people from our industry, as a matter of fact, from talk radio, how many people get a complete and total free pass. Mm-hmm. There are so many people out there, and I use examples like Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity, that bloviate every single day. Rush Limbaugh in particular, who just has gotten away throughout his career. Yeah. With this, and if you add it up, because what do they say about Donald Sterling? It wasn't the one isolated, example. It's the fact that he has done it again and again. Rush Limbaugh, you could go by the 5-year increments and put up his quotes and see what he says. And because it is the land of right-wing radio where
and it's
some
dollars.
of this, and it's dollars and it's accepted. Yep. And, these guys, because once again, you're talking. The most recent example was Sean Hannity with this douche out in Nevada, who was grazing, and then that guy came out to be a serial bigot, and everybody's like, so Sean Hannity gets on, and the next day goes, okay, never mind.
Yeah,
and there's
exactly.
And there's no. Oscar likes the word blowback. I like it too. There's no blowback on that, and it just. I think that we have. I'm not saying the double standard means that Donald Sterling shouldn't be punished.
Right.
I'm saying the Donald Sterling thing ought to be an example of, you can't get away with this crap.
Let's talk about the numbers, all right? Then don't feel so bad for Donald Sterling.
No, he's not gonna be going to the poorhouse anytime
I heard
soon.
a report yesterday that didn't just talk about his numbers, but I have them in front of me here, and I'll mention them in 2 seconds. But also, think back when you listen to those tapes. Does that man with his millions and really billions of dollars, billions of dollars, that fortune, does that man sound like a happy man? That man sounds sadder than most friends that only make ends meet that I know.
True enough.
That are working from paycheck to paycheck. So when
Watch
you think,
The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills if you want to see people that have all the more money than Jesus and they're all absolutely miserable.
But that is a reality show. This is a snapshot into someone's personal life, right?
I agree.
That man sounds so unhappy. But think about this. With all the money in the world, you feel bad for Donald Sterling. Ask me how much he paid for the Los Angeles Clippers in 1981.
Let me see. I'm gonna say
Guess.
81.
Yes.
100 million.
I have to recuse myself because I know the answer.
Okay, he paid $12.7 million.
Okay, it's an amazing amount of money.
Yeah,
out
right.
there. 1981. That was an amazing amount.
What is the estimated value in 2014 for the Los Angeles Clippers?
$700 million.
$700 million.
So when he's forced to sell, his punishment is going to be making $650 million.
Yes.
Oh,
so he's got the $2.5 million fine from the NBA, and then when he sells, the upside for owning this franchise is going to be close to really $1 billion.
Right. And the fact is that is another reason why I think justice is swift, because there is no financial punishment outside of the $2.5 million fine that he got for making this statement. So that's another reason. And we get back to the whole public trust thing. You're not asking a man to give up, anything that's going to break him, other than his association with the NBA. So I think it's going to happen.
And hearing those numbers, doesn't $2.5 million seem awful light?
Yeah, it does. It does.
I mean,
actually,
and considering the money is going to causes that will further race relations, racial understanding.
There's no financial penalty for this guy whatsoever. There isn't. The fact is, there's another reason I like the NBA decision, because there's no financial penalty for the guy. There's, they can't do that. It's not in their bylaws, and it's not going to happen. So what it is, though, is we are done with you. Get your
Yep.
racist ass, go back to your mansion, and just shut the hell up, never to be heard from again. And I think that is a just penalty.
And this is also important within to factor as far as the millions go, because if we hear about this, you'll know.
Okay.
If he sells the team, he's going to owe 23.8% of that $700 million. That's 20. Let's say 24% of that $700 million.
Okay.
If he's able to bequeath the team to his daughter, he'll only have to pay capital gains tax, which will save him $250 million. So if you see that move,
Yes.
that's why it's happening.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And, I think if people start wanting more of a pound of flesh, they're not going to be satisfied. I think they have to be satisfied with the fact that this guy is banned from the NBA.
What a
and
smart
you're not
move
gonna
by
have
the
that.
NBA as well.
And
Yeah,
precedent
I agree.
setting. Precedent
agree.
setting, too.
Yes.
I think the brand new and would David Stern have done it?
I
I'm
don't
not
know,
sure.
but I know Adam Silver worked under Stern for many
I know
years.
he was a deputy for years, and this is really his first time in the spotlight, and I think he gets straight A's.
Yeah,
I think
I
he's
agree.
done an amazing job.
And a beautiful man.
Nosferatu, Pony's obsession. We will take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about Craig Ferguson and the fact that all the old people have left Florida.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll take a break. Come back with more on the Mike O'Mara Show.
Teach the world to sing in perfect harmony and teach the world to snuff the
I'm sure by now you've heard me talk about my favorite thing, my wonderful Sleep Number bed. It's changed the way I sleep. For 8 hours a night, I am in perfect comfort. So is Carla. And as we get ready for our first Florida summer, we don't worry about a thing. You see, we both like to sleep on a cool bed, and we can, thanks to Sleep Number's dual temp layer. The dual temp layer lets you select your ideal temperature at the touch of a button, and best of all, it can be added to any mattress brand, even if you don't have a Sleep Number bed. It features active air technology, which heats or cools each side of the bed. It's the solution for couples who can't agree on the right sleeping temperature. Now you can both sleep just the way you like. My Sleep Number setting is a 60. Carla's is a 75. This Mother's Day, check out the dual temp layer. Right now, there's even special financing available. The dual temp layer is only available at a Sleep Number store where queen mattresses start at just $699. There are 450 Sleep Number stores nationwide. Find one near you by calling 800-511-0061. That number again is 800-511-0061. And don't forget to tell them that Mike O'Mara sent you, and send me a line when you do. I would love to hear from you.
Will you entertain a sleep question?
Yes.
When you got your CPAP machine, you had
Yes.
your sleep study, then you had a follow-up.
Right.
How many follow-ups before you actually got your machine and your mask?
Oh, boy. Let me see. I did it differently. I had a pal. I had a connection. I had a hookup.
He knew a
so
guy.
You got it
I
on
knew a guy that knew a guy.
Craigslist?
How do you know
I-
a CPAP guy? That's not a
I
guy
know a
people
C-
usually know.
His name
Listener-
is Guy
listen-
CPAP.
An anonymous listener to the show. A guy's probably
really?
listening right now, and I want to give him a big
Do you
hug
remember
and
his
a
name?
kiss.
You don't remember his name.
I totally know his name.
What's
I
his
know
name?
Where, I know where he lives.
What's
I'm
his
not
first
telling you
name?
his name. I'm not
His
telling
first
you his
name.
first name.
Everybody
I'm
has
not
a
telling
first
you.
name.
I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. I'm not telling
You don't
his first
remember his
name.
I know his first
I
name.
do.
It's Ronique.
Ronique in Vegas? You went all the way out to Vegas to get your CPAP machine?
I say it because it's Ronique's birthday. It was
I will
only a
hold
joke.
up. This man has been to my home 4 times.
Oh.
Oh. Does he own a bar in Manassas?
No, I'm talking about my hookup. I'm talking about my guy.
You still don't remember his first name? He's been to your house
Yes,
4
I do.
times?
I know his.
Well,
I
just
know his
tell
first
us.
name.
We can bleep it out.
I can't because he had asked at the time
Oh,
for
really?
anonymity
I see.
because
Witness
of the
protection
fact
program.
that what's that?
Witness protection program.
It's the witness protection program, and he's not in the area anymore.
Oh.
Did he
Oh.
make a
That's another
CPAP
thing.
joke? Did he say?
I happen to know that about him too.
Oh,
So
wow.
there.
He made his
Weird.
CPAP joke, Oscar. He said, "Never breathe a word of this."
Why are you asking? Are you not getting your machine quick enough?
I don't know. I have a follow-up today following my second study. I think I get my mask today, and I'm a little jacked.
Are you? But it's just not your mask. Are you getting the whole machine?
Well, yeah. I mean, I would get everything. It looks kind
Okay.
of like an Oric vacuum, Mike. There's a handle and a hose and everything. And
I will tell you this: it requires and they probably said this to you already. It requires a little getting used to.
yes.
You have to kind of acclimate to it. I remember the first time I put it on and I pressed the little button and the air comes in and it's like, It was like, I can't breathe.
Were you bothered by the fact that even if you like stop breathing, not hold your breath like when you're going underwater, but if you just stop breathing, you can feel a breeze coming out of your mouth?
Yeah.
It's very odd.
It's almost like G forces.
But I'm excited. I bought 3 gallons of distilled water yesterday, so I'm ready to go. My fingers are crossed that the strange visitor from the east is going to issue me my machine today.
So you're going to sleep with it tonight, maybe?
Hopefully,
right?
yeah. And without the wires, it could be great.
I will note that. I will make a note of that because I'm very curious to see how you do your first night with it, because in my case, it was very soon thereafter that I had like an amazing night's sleep. I just came off a phenomenal night's sleep. I hate to mention the client again, but it is, the wonderful Sleep Number bed, but I also, that machine that I have helps me out, and I would venture to say that I've become a little bit addicted to it. I truly like it. Oscar's always over there. Don't you guys realize that if you just took care of yourselves, you wouldn't have to do any
Oscar,
of this?
just so you think, we do listen to you. The name of the most current Cake and Cookies episode is Too Fat to Sleep. So I want you to know that we do listen.
Okay.
And I was given a piece of advice from another user, a friend of mine, that I'd like to pass along to you, Mike. When you're wearing your CPAP machine, Mike, don't let anyone fart near the intake.
The one thing you will find, Rob,
that must taste horrible.
Oh God,
I'll let you know.
The worst.
The dog, get away from there.
Well, my intake's always over on my vanity. It's always on my vanity.
Oh, your beautiful vanity.
Yeah.
You're a slave to it.
My nightstand, I call it.
No, you
it's
call
not
it
a vanity.
Stop lying.
It's a nightstand.
Is that where you keep your makeup?
Okay.
Your big curved mirror and your powder puff?
Do you brush your hair there before you go to bed?
100 strokes.
With my silver brush.
Yeah.
Now you have the large mirror that's mounted, but also a hand mirror as well, right?
Yeah,
so you can
absolutely.
see the back of your beautiful head.
And of course,
mirror,
right now
mirror on the wall. Who's the best mimic of them all?
I'm carrying my compact.
Of course. So I'll be right out, Carla. My nose is a little shiny. I'll be at the vanity.
I have to go powder my nose. I'll be sitting at the vanity, and it's pink.
Of course it is.
It's pink, and it's got actually the big mirror in the middle, but then the folding in mirrors on the side.
That way
so
you can
angles.
see. Yeah, you can see all sides of your beautiful face.
Yeah, it's where I put my makeup on, brush my hair, and play with my dolls. That's what happens with it.
Mike's American Girl dolls.
Only the best for Mike.
I'm very, very curious as to how you're going to do with that. I'd like to really find out. The one thing I will warn you, when you get the machine, and if you turn, do you sleep on your back side or stomach?
I sleep primarily on my left side.
Left side. Okay,
Yeah.
that means
Facing my vanity, so I should be fine.
Are you facing the wall, or are you facing your wife?
I'm always the wall.
Oh, the wall? Because if you turn, I've had this happen with Carla. If you turn on your side and I switch. I go from one. I sleep on my side, and I'll sleep sometimes on my right, sometimes on my left. I'm all right. I'm all right.
Right.
If you face your wife, we have this problem because it blows the wind into your lungs.
And she wakes up screaming?
Terrified.
It will blow it out of the top of the mask.
Right.
So you've got a steady stream of air, and if you point to her, she's getting a concentrated breeze, which is not going to be good for her to sleep with.
What I do is I sleep either on my back or my left side, facing away from Carrie, and probably facing where the CPAP machine will be. So I've actually been preparing for this, Mike, for 43 years.
You no longer sleep at the foot of the bed, do you?
No, curled. Curled at my wife's feet.
Sleeping curled up at the foot of the bed.
Yes.
And Rob has a doggy bed from Costco.
I occasionally scratch my ear, but I use my foot to do it. So I hope I don't knock the mask off. I tell you what, Mike, if I am issued the mask, I will know before close of business today. I will text you, and perhaps tomorrow we can compare our headgear.
Very exciting.
Would you like that?
Yeah, we'll start the show. If you have it, bring it in, and I'll start the show with it. We can both start the show with our masks tomorrow.
I'd like that. It'll make the mailbag very interesting.
Something for people to tune in for. Super duper.
If people are wondering what I'm thinking right now.
Okay, thanks for bringing that up, Oscar.
Yeah, my mindset is that I work with 2 cautionary tales.
That's all.
That's all I got.
That's too goddamn funny.
And one a-hole.
Hey. So do you guys care about Craig Ferguson? Have we covered that pretty much?
I feel bad for him. I still feel for him. I don't think it was his choice. I think that I think you hit the nail on the head, and Rob as well, when you said that the odds of him just either leaving or getting pushed out were high. simply because they are trying to do everything to get more young and more hip.
But I read on Facebook somewhere last night his contract gave him right of first refusal for Letterman's show. That was written into his contract.
That happened with Conan as well. He gets paid out. He
It's
gets
a- so
paid
it's a-
out like
it's a
$9 million.
payout?
Up
All
to
right.
$9 million.
Well,
He
then
gets paid regardless.
I'm sure he'll be fine, as will the robot.
The thing about Craig Ferguson, though, is you're banished when you're in that time slot, and I don't think a lot of America knew how good he was. And the thing that's ignored about Craig Ferguson is just how incredible an interviewer he was. Fearless. I watched Craig Ferguson do an interview. His interviews, and I nobody talks about. This is what I hate about coverage of media in America.
Nobody
talks
watches him.
about
No one watches
but nobody
him.
talks about his real skill. And his real skill, he did interviews that I would dream to do. He was so at ease with all of his guests that he made them all feel equally important and equally mocked at the same time. And there are not a lot of people that can do that. You go back to one of the things Howard Stern did when Howard started doing a lot of celebrity interviews,
right,
is Howard would go so edgy. And nobody could do edgy like Howard could do edgy. But what Howard never had was the real warmth that Craig Ferguson had. Craig Ferguson could go really edgy, too, but he did it in such a playful way. I just never saw anybody like him. And I'm not diminishing what Howard did, because Howard's interviews were, Howard changed the landscape and was fearless in the area of celebrity interviews, and nobody did it. I always said that. I've never said it publicly, actually, about Howard Stern. Nobody did celebrity interviews as fearlessly as Howard did it. And I thought Craig Ferguson balanced the two, and nobody did interviews on TV that he did.
I think also, as great of an interviewer as he was, keep in mind, he was always doing it with the stars that weren't on The Tonight Show and they weren't on Letterman. He was getting, as a rule, second-tier stars, and he made you care about what they had to say, and that speaks well of the interviewer. But also, he was a brilliant monologist, and he would come out and talk in a way that no one had, maybe since, like, Jack Parr, and he was just so comfortable on screen. I was going to
comfortable.
I was going to save this for the vault, but I'd like to play it now. Okay. Letterman actually referenced Ferguson last night and said a lot. This is a brief tape, but very, very nice. And, Dave doesn't hand out a lot of compliments.
Right.
And I thought this was pretty genuine.
Sorry, did you hear this last night?
Sir.
Craig Ferguson announced that he will be leaving his show, The Late Late Show, which comes on right after this show at the end of the year, which is too bad. He's been on that program, the star of the show, since 2005. And he's going on to do other things, I guess a new show that is in the works for him. But his show was unlike any other late night show. And I'm telling you, to be unique in the world of television, virtually impossible.
Right.
So congratulations to Craig on a great run. And we all wish him well.
I love Dave.
And it's true.
That's so
Dave's
nice.
got class.
Classy.
Dave's got total class.
Very classy.
And here's what you got. I'm gonna use the dinger buzzer thing too, because I'm not talking about the product or the overall product. I'm talking about celebrity interviewers. Okay. You got Jimmy Kimmel, who will not get a buzzer or a dinger for celebrity interviews, because I think Jimmy Kimmel, of the people I'm going to mention, is pretty damn good and gets by and does a pretty decent celebrity interview, not stellar. Then you got Jimmy Fallon. That's his interview. Absolutely horrible interview. I mean, really, already just wide-eyed, playful, and does great sketches with the guests, but doesn't have that. And then you got Conan O'Brien, always one of the worst celebrity interviews I've ever seen, and brilliant in other ways. So I always like the interview segments, and it's frustrating for me that we're not. And Stephen Colbert is the big question mark as far as how he's going to do when he really has to be Stephen Colbert. Because when I go back and look at the old TV shows like Johnny Carson and and Johnny Carson.
All right,
that's
Mike,
all we
how
had.
about a little love for Merv?
Merv, well, yeah. Ooh, Merv.
Ooh.
Oscar.
I've never seen Merv Griffin
You
before.
never saw Merv, and I will tell you how
didn't
to
miss too much.
describe. You really did. Merv would be, the way his celebrity interview would be like, so how are you?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
So what have you been doing? Oh, really? Really? But
Like
it was
a lazy
so funny.
Larry King.
Like very L.A., very like, ooh, yeah, terrific, ooh, that kind of way.
Oh, he was
just
he was
Daddy-o.
the definition of vanilla. I mean, really. And what he would do, if I was Merv and I had you two as guests, I'd say, Oscar, how you doing?
I'm great. What's going
Mike?
on, Merv?
And he'd say, Mike, Oscar's doing great. Because he'd have a lot of people on the couch.
Oh, like a talking tree.
And he'd bounce around. It was horrible.
And Merv's monologue really was coming out and talking about the guests that would be on his show, and it was pre-written for him. But Merv delivered it in such a way, this next gentleman has been making movies for so very, very long. We are thrilled and delighted to have Mr. Buddy Hackett on the show today. And he just would go on and do it like that, and it was not fun.
And he was the host of the Tonight Show before, Johnny?
No, he had his own show.
He had his own show, talk show.
What about the Dick Van Dyke Show?
This is the Merv Griffin theme right here.
How do you have this?
I love this theme song because
Great
it is
theme.
so cheesy.
It is cheesy. Merv Griffin, a band singer.
And don't forget, Mike, he had a big hit in like 1940. This is great. He sings in a character voice, Oscar.
Does he?
Yes, he does. Like a Cockney, okay?
Down at an English fair, one evening I was there, when I heard a showman shouting underneath the plate.
Thank you, Rob.
We didn't get to the hook, but it was called "I've Got a Lovely Bunch of Coconuts."
I've got a lovely bunch of
There's a
coconuts.
hook. Yeah, absolutely.
So what I was going to say is Craig Ferguson will be missed. I hope he shows up again. And it, to me, is CBS once again going flavor of the month and looking at the they look at the ratings. That's a big deal. But you've got a totally untried, unproven guy as far as the celebrity interview is. He's done them in character, but he's never done them as as Stephen Colbert.
Chelsea Handler is rumored to take that slot. That's the front runner right now.
Might be a good fit for her in late
I wish
night.
I knew more. I wish I watched her show more because I don't watch it enough. And I
Well,
don't,
you're not a 16-year-old chick, so
Yeah, and what's your opinion of Chelsea Handler?
Well, it's really I mean, right now her interviews are fun yet abrasive, so you don't know what you're going to get when you watch them, right?
Her television show is like a slam book.
Yeah, and she also she's leaving E, so she's going to have the opportunity to do something else.
Right.
And this has actually been in the works for a while, now it's all coming together because about 6 months ago she did an interview where she was on the fence of staying with the E show and re-upping or leaving, and maybe, and you never know, but maybe these talks were already in the works where these are the possibilities, just like in radio, where people talk about this is what's going to happen next year, someone's contract is up, and then maybe you can slide in there. A step up from the E television show, which had great ratings for you, that's why they wanted to re-up it, would be that slot. It would be Craig Ferguson's late night slot, because you're not just on cable, you're on network television, and some more eyeballs can see you.
Yeah, and Chelsea, she's very brave. She did a lot of stuff on E that you wouldn't think a star of her magnitude would do. And I think that the more we discuss Chelsea's slot, the better it will work out for her.
She's got a New York Times bestselling book as well out, so she's doing well.
Yeah.
I think she's had a very questionable slot.
Really?
Yeah.
Trouble with her slot?
Have you done a lot of thinking about Chelsea's slot?
I haven't really considered it. I think the E show is 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So this would be a much bigger slot.
Yeah, and 50 Cent knows about her slot.
Oh, he does.
They dated.
Yeah.
Very good. We'll wish her the very, very best.
She can hold much more than 50 cents in that slot.
Very, very excited. Hey,
coin
everybody, it's contest time. Rob, do we have music for our contest?
Oh, we actually do, Mike. Hold on. But you know what? I was thought this would be a great time to debut our world-famous Mother Montage.
I'm so mad at my mother.
Ribbit, Mama!
You got to have a mother for me.
Mama. Mama mia.
Mama told me to come. Oh, Mama. Hello, mother.
Tell Mama.
Mama loves mambo. Your mother should know Sylvia's mother. Well, that's all right, Mama. Crazy little Mama. Your mother should know.
The floor is yours.
Does your mommy deserve something special on Mother's Day?
Yes.
Of course she does. Is it because just maybe, perhaps, you were a total pain growing up? A pain in your mother's ass? Well, let's fix that. The Mike O'Mara Show, along with Sherry's Berries and Pro Flowers, are going to treat your mama right. Leading up to Mother's Day, we'll be giving moms beautiful Pro Flowers and sumptuous Sherry's Berries. All you have to do is email us. Are you ready for that address?
Yes, give it to us.
Send it to mother@MikeO'MaraShow.com. Tell us what horrible thing you did that makes your mom so deserving of a great Mother's Day. Basically, tell us what a bad kid you were.
Please.
Be brief, be specific, and tell us why you belong on a shelf at the jerk store. Include a phone number for you and your mom, just in case we want to call you up and congratulate you. Let us make up for your years of neglect as a horrible devil spawn. Happy Mother's Day from your friends at proflowers.com, berries.com, and the Mike O'Mara Show.
The mailbox is open, so they can start submitting their entries right now. I think we'll have our first giveaway tomorrow.
Mother@MikeO'MaraShow.com, and you could be getting the berries and the flowers. We will take a break and come back with news you may not need on the Mike O'Mara Show. And get those entries in to mother@MikeO'MaraShow.com. We'll be right back with news you may not need.
Used to stay out all night long.
Yes, today is a mommy-centric day on the Mike O'Mara Show. Dear sweet mothers, mommies, mamas, mamos, she always spoiled you because she loved you. Now is the time to spoil mom, and with berries and flowers, you can spoil her twice. A one-day-only offer. Send mom a beautiful bouquet of flowers, and on the very next day, have freshly dipped strawberries delivered from Sherry's Berries for only $39.99. She won't even see it coming. What a surprise. Amazing, luscious, gargantuan, hand-selected strawberries dipped in decadent white, dark, and milk chocolatey goodness, topped with chocolate chips, nuts, and the ever-popular swizzle. Boy! And, of course, the flowers are beautiful and classic. All you need is our magic code TMOS. Use TMOS when you order and spoil the mom in your life. Here's the only way to get this amazing Mother's Day deal. Visit berries.com. That's BERRIES.com. Click on the microphone in the top right corner and type in TMOS. Again, berries.com. Click microphone TMOS. Great! Great! This offer is good today only. She'll call all her friends to talk about these delicious surprise berries. So hurry, order now, and we thank you in advance, everybody.
From around the globe, across the nation, looking through your neighbor's window, the Mike O'Mara Show now presents news you may not need. A comprehensive look at the stories you may or may not be talking about during your daily activity. And now, news you may not need.
Oklahoma prison officials halted an inmate's execution after a new drug combination. You hear about this?
Yes.
Left the man writhing and clenching his teeth on the gurney.
Ugh.
He later died of a heart attack. Clayton Lockett, 38, was declared unconscious 10 minutes after the first of 3 drugs in the state's new lethal injection combination was administered Tuesday evening. 3 minutes later, he began breathing heavily, writhing, clenching his teeth, and straining to lift his head off the pillow. Jesus Christ. I mean, I know this is a horrible guy that did horrible things, but my God. The blinds were eventually...
This should not be this hard.
No, and this is the whole... this has happened many, many different times with lethal injection, and you're almost saying to yourself, the barbaric ways, at least they knew what happened, and it was quicker.
Yeah.
The blinds were eventually lowered to prevent those in the viewing gallery from watching what was happening in the death chamber, and the state's top prison official eventually called a halt to the proceedings. Lockett died of a heart attack a short time later. Eesh.
You want to talk about a no-win when you're not dying from lethal injection and then they call halt? I mean, that's horrible. And
Ridiculous.
I heard at one point the man who was dying actually said, something's wrong.
Yeah,
I mean, can you imagine that?
Horrible, terrible. I hate the whole story. I had to share it because I don't like it when it's like that. Star Wars Episode 7 finally has its stars. May the Force be with them. After months of carefully guarded secrecy and endless internet speculation, the cast of the latest incarnation of the space epic was unveiled Tuesday in the official Star Wars website by Lucasfilm and the Walt Disney Company.
Are you excited, Mike?
Nope. Are you ready? Are you ready for the stars? Tell me if you know any of them.
Yes.
This is the new J.J. Abrams Star Wars. Here are the stars. John Boyega?
No.
Okie doke. Daisy Ridley?
No.
Adam Driver?
Him I know. He plays Adam Sackler on Girls.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
Oscar Isaac?
He's right here.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's Oscar's stage name?
Yes, it is. That's his Star Wars name.
Do you know Oscar Isaac?
I've got a project meant to talk to you guys about.
What you didn't know, Mike,
I'll
is
be on
that
set.
Episode 7 is being directed by Michael Holstein.
Hey,
And he's brought Oscar on board.
Here's a name I know, Max von Sydow.
Is he still alive?
A nice piece of cheddar cheese. There's a nice piece of cheddar cheese. With
Oscar
the apple
Isaac's
pie.
going to be Han Solo.
Really?
And people are probably fired up.
Andy Serkis. Anybody know Andy Serkis?
Yeah, he plays Golem. He does all those voices for the characters that are CGI.
And here's the weirdest name of all, Domhnall Gleeson.
Boy!
Yeah. I don't think it's that Gleeson.
He said, we're going to blow up the Death Star, and away we go!
I take that back. He won't be Han Solo. They haven't told us who most of these guys are going to play yet.
But isn't Harrison Ford
You mean
in the
companies?
movie?
You mean the companies declined to name the characters each will play?
Yeah, that's what it's telling me. Wow.
Though Driver, the breakout star of HBO's Girls, is widely expected to be playing the film's feature villain.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, there it is.
I don't think the franchise can exist without the character of Darth Vader. I think that's seriously what the first films were built on, and with Vader gone, I don't think it's going to do.
I can't believe that Girls Got the Star is going to become part of one of the biggest films of the year.
I hope he plays it the same way.
Well, he kind of looks like an alien, doesn't he?
He
I
does.
think he'd be a good. I bet. I say lots of prosthetics. We'll have to see what happens.
What if he comes on and he says, I can't believe you're blowing up the Death Star.
It isn't at all uncommon for the recently arrested to claim they're the victims of a misunderstanding. But in the case of Paul Simon and Edie Brickell, we had the story yesterday. In case of their recent domestic disturbance, it really does sound as though a minor incident got completely out of hand. They've been married since '92. They appeared in court on April 28th to speak with the judge about their argument, which the Daily News described as a shoving match.
Well, I can imagine.
I'm sorry to laugh at Paul Simon and his shoving match, but it's funny.
Well, I mean, even when he was at his most vibrant, he was a tiny little guy, and now he's old. He's like
Right.
a little old man. What is he going to shove? A wheelchair?
Let me see. According to Simon's lawyer, it only became a public problem when Brickell's mother called the police.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine? You got to yell at your mom for calling the police because you're an adult and you're in a horrible relationship.
Quote, it was a normal husband and wife discussion, attorney Alan Kramer said. Paul didn't want to discuss it, and Brickell did. He tried to leave, and she kind of locked the door. I was talking to her, and she said, we'd been married for 25 years, and we've had maybe 3 or 4 arguments. It was over not much. On a scale from 1 to 10, it was a 1. So there it is, the Simons argument. I don't think you're going to hear more about this.
Meanwhile, Art
Congratulations.
Garfunkel is blowing on his soup.
Hey, Rob, I really hope that the Brickell Simons can get over their bridge to troubled water.
I agree.
Okay, anyway. Jesus Christ. It's a daily battle to get your kids to do their chores. Right? Am I right?
Right.
Am I right?
Right.
You may want to move to Spain. Listen to this. I love this story. Oscar, you're going to enjoy this,
Please.
too. Parliament has approved a bill that would make children legally obliged to do housework and more.
I'm in.
According to the BBC. If the bill becomes law, those under the age of 18 will be expected to participate in family life, respect their parents and siblings, and perform household duties in accordance with their age and regardless of their gender. How about that?
Oh, yeah.
It's called the Julia Spivak law.
Yeah, my
There you
mom
go.
enforced that with Pedro Moreno. A few beatdowns, and you got things done right away.
Tell your kids, Rob, you never know. The mandates extend to the schoolyard as well. Minors will also be legally bound to study, respect teachers, and maintain a positive attitude.
I'm going to put my kids in a bag and take them to Spain, Mike. That's
That's what I've always told my daughters. If it was legal to call 911 on mouth-breathing teenage slackers, the police wouldn't have time for anything else, so let's not make it a trend. But once in a while, sure, just to keep them in check. 72-year-old Edward Friel of South Amherst, Ohio, called 911 on Saturday to report his 17-year-old grandson, Justin, for being lazy.
I love it. I love it.
That's so embarrassing.
Apparently, Justin was at his grandpa's and refused to help him around the house. He just wanted to mess around on the computer. Eventually, Edward cut the internet cable to get Justin to pay attention, so Justin punched a hole in the kitchen wall and left. Edward called 911 but made sure they knew Justin never threatened him, and he really just wanted to report Justin's laziness.
What a great old man way to handle it. Not
Oh,
unscrew the cable, to cut the internet
Oh,
cable.
You're done,
No-
Sonny?
No charges were filed for the damages to the wall or for the laziness. Justin's grandfather was, let me see, Edward Friel. I thought his name was Paul Simon. Just kidding. Sorry. A handwritten note that was found in Kurt Cobain's wallet at the time of his death was published for the first time yesterday, and it's brutal to Courtney Love.
Wow.
The note definitely appears to have been written by Kurt, and it says, quote, "Do you, Kurt Cobain, take Courtney Michelle Love to be your lawful shredded wife?"
Oh, dear. Really?
Even, and that goes on, even when she's a B word with zits and siphoning all your money for doping and whoring. Now, I don't know, there's a lot of speculation on this.
Well, there's no gray area there. Doping and whoring. We know those two things.
Yeah. Well, the gray area is that it was not the entire note. There appears to be more, but the only picture of it available is a photocopied version that cuts off so you can't see what else it says.
That doesn't reek of love. How do you pivot from doping and whoring to "but I love you so much"?
Because the part that was cut off the note actually said LOLZJ/K.
Well, the reason this is a controversy is Kurt was a lot nicer to Courtney in what has always been accepted as his suicide note. In that one, he calls her, quote, "a goddess of a wife who sweats ambition and empathy." He adds, quote, "Please keep going, Courtney, for our daughter Frances."
So
now
the
there's
rumors are that she might have blown his brains out.
No,
Allegedly.
the rumors or doctored the note, and there's no word from the Courtney Love camp as far as what
doctored
this
the note.
is
You're
all
absolutely
about.
right.
Yeah, very interesting.
I'm sending the kids there this summer, Mike, the Courtney Love camp.
And now a little something. We all know teenagers are terrible drivers. Seems to be a theme of today's show. Yeah. Partly because they can't stop texting, but also because they're not capable of making adult decisions just yet. And this girl is a prime example. On Sunday, a 17-year-old girl was driving through Sacramento.
Ah, hello.
Yes, when a 7th grader threw a water bottle at her car, which we assume caused zero damage. Then the kid tried to take off on his bike, so she followed him, hopped a curb into someone's yard, and intentionally ran him over.
God, really? For a water
In the process,
an eye for an eye, people. An eye for an eye.
It's in the Bible.
In the process, she also slammed into a tree. The kid ended up getting pinned under the car, and when authorities got there, they had to lift it up to rescue him. No word on what his injuries are, but luckily they're not life-threatening. Police are still deciding what to charge the 17-year-old with. I say use that obscure narcissistic bitch statute. Narcissistic bitch
That
statute.
is road rage to an extreme.
It is.
And I don't believe it. Very good. Take a break. We'll come back with the audio vault. Rob Spiewak right after this.
Pretty woman walking down the street. Pretty woman, the kind I like to meet.
Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show. This portion of our program, Rob's Magic Audio Vault, is brought to you by Vistaprint. If you're a small business owner, listen up. If you're not a small business owner, you'll still want to hear this. Right now, and running through Tuesday, May 6th, Vistaprint is having a 40% off sale. So what does that mean? It's simple. Nearly everything on their site is on sale up to 40% off. Business cards, postcards, invitations, phone cases, T-shirts, you name it. Go to Vistaprint.com and load up your cart with all sorts of goodies. When you're done, enter promo code SPRING. That's not our normal code.
Okay.
Remember that. Enter the promo code SPRING at checkout, and your savings will be applied automatically. Let that sink in for a moment. Up to 40% off site-wide, just for typing the word SPRING at checkout. But that's not the only reason to check out Vistaprint. I love personalizing and creating my items just the way I want them. Add photos with custom text, change colors, even add your own logo. Quick, easy, it's wonderful, and you don't have to spend a ton of money. If you've never tried Vistaprint, now is the time. If you're a returning customer, get back to their site before May 6th to stock up or reorder anything. Remember, their big sale ends Tuesday, May 6th for up to 40% off. Go to Vistaprint.com. We love them, and you will too. Let's open up the audio vault for Wednesday, April 30th, 2014. Rob Spiewak.
Mr. Bob Costas, Mike. He's a good, solid broadcaster, but I always get the impression when he's on like an interview show, it's all about Bob.
Yeah.
And that puts me off a little bit. Also, I wish he'd pick a hair color and stick with it. Last night he was calling the Mariners-Yankees game with ex-Brave, I believe, John Smoltz. And
John Smoltz.
There was a long inning, and I don't believe I've ever heard Bob Costas do anything like this before.
How are your play-by-play skills? They're not bad. Good. Take over for a while.
Take over for a while. All right. Furbush starts on the mound with a closed stance.
How'd you do on the double play?
I held on.
There was some compressed time
I
there.
held on. I like Smoltz. Smoltz is good. I held on. That's fair. So he had to go winky tink? Is that what he had to do?
I compressed it a little bit. He was gone for a longer period of time than that, but now he's back in the booth.
Yeah, I did okay. You know, this is an age of candor. Between innings, I head to the men's room. Nothing but broadcasters. 3 Yankee broadcasters, 3 Mariner broadcasters.
Well, our producer has
all queued up.
He's called for help because this was his nightmare.
All queued up between innings. What's a guy to do?
So they were all taking a leak at the same time?
Yeah, there was 6 broadcasters ahead of him, and he just couldn't make it. I'm shocked that A, he would address it, and B, he wouldn't just hold it. To tell a guy that is not Bob Costas by a long shot to say, take over.
Well,
he
I would
must
think
have
it
had
was-
to go.
I would think it might have been fecal.
Oh, you
Fecal urgency. Oh my God! Yes. What if he was looking at some patio furniture, then went to do the play-by-play, and then it struck him?
Yeah, he had himself a Yankees dog. Disagreed with him.
Thanks for the cocoon reference, Oscar. I appreciate that. But the fact is, poor Bob Costas. First, it was the pink eye at the Olympics, and now it's fecal urgency.
He's getting
How long,
older.
Rob, you edited the tape. How long was the break? Basically?
I don't think it was long enough for that, unless he was really ready to go.
Unless he's a rabbit.
Hey, wouldn't you, if you see Costas walking down the hall, wouldn't you think this man's got to get back on TV/radio? Let him go.
Yeah, he's the
got to go to
national
the front. He's got to go to the
broadcaster.
front of the line.
I would think that we would know if it's fecal, Mike, if the pink eye returns in 2 weeks.
All I know, call Joe Theismann, have him get in touch with Bob Costas because Joe has to go all the time too. I see the commercials.
Oh yeah, Mike. His prostate was giving him fits.
Exactly.
That's the quote.
Right.
Here's something that I found rather engaging. I still think Cameron Diaz is a very handsome young lady, and she was on the Whatever Happens Live show. I
Right.
didn't think this was going to be the answer we got.
You may plead the fifth.
Okay.
Only one. First question.
Okay.
You have said that you think all women have been sexually attracted to another woman at some point. Have you yourself ever swam in the lady pond?
Interesting. What is the lady pond? I'm so.
Have you ever been with a lady?
Yes, I have been with a lady.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And I like those.
Nice.
Excellent. Yeah.
Is that Andy Cohen?
It is.
Yeah. And what show is that? Because I don't watch that.
Whatever
show.
Happens Live. It's on
Watch
Bravo,
What Happens
isn't it?
Live,
Watch
yes.
What Happens Live. Forgive me. It's on the
Well,
Bravo.
I've been working on this one for a while. Only by Bravo. All right, thank you very much.
Good job.
Now, here's one that is specifically for Oscar and Pony, because I know growing up, they watched the cartoon show DuckTales.
Oh,
Yes.
woo.
And what was that?
It's a hell of an impression, Oscar.
Woo. What would happen,
DuckTales.
Mike, if they took the theme to DuckTales and performed it again, but more like a soul ballad?
Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars,
Sounds like Amy Winehouse.
Doesn't it? Didn't they do a nice job?
It's a
That's scary.
duck blur. You might solve a mystery or rewrite history.
Oh, the Latchkey Kid.
Look at him.
He's totally digging that, isn't
He
he?
hasn't been this happy since he finished the studio. hasn't he?
That's amazing.
So that's
sad.
the way that says. Did you see the
Thank you.
tape that was all over the YouTube and the internets last week? The person that had 2 letters left on Wheel of Fortune, obviously the answer was booking my shore excursion, and he
Yes.
screamed out, boozing my shore excursion. It made me research other bad game show answers, and I found a marvelous montage. Mike, I think you'll like this as much as I did.
Something a burglar would not want to see when he breaks into a house. Rob.
Naked grandma!
Naked, huh?
Long-handled gardening tool can also mean an immoral pleasure seeker. Ken.
What's a hoe?
No.
Name a yellow fruit. Orange. Something that has to warm up before you use it, sir. How about your wife?
A blow to the back of the neck is the punch named for this animal. Mike.
What is a donkey? Name an animal with 3 letters in its name.
Alligator.
Name part of the telephone.
The bottom part.
I'll solve. Go ahead.
Mustard-filled chocolatey clear.
No, that is not.
And just in case you missed the last one, he said mustard-filled chocolate eclair instead
my
of
favorite
custard.
My favorite was the bottom part. Name the part of the telephone. The bottom part.
The bottom part. And Mike, we mentioned him earlier. Mark Cuban. He's all talking about this whole thing about Sterling.
Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban said he doesn't think Donald Sterling should be kicked out of the league for comments made in private conversation. After hearing this, Sterling said, "Wow, this is the first time I've liked a Cuban."
That's your Magic Audio Vault. Have a great Wednesday, everybody.
We got to get out of here. For all technical support issues with the Mike O'Mara Show, contact our sugar glider wrangler himself, Matt Bloom, otherwise known now as Nosferatu. Matt Nosferatu Bloom, Ponyboy at MikeO'MaraShow.com. All correspondence for the show should be sent to TMOS, Box 2796, Leesburg, Virginia, 20177. And remember, our official e-voice hotline is open now at 800-440-8167. And we're doing the Mother's Day contest. If you want to participate in our Mother's Day contest, send us an email telling us what a horrible child you were to mother@MikeO'MaraShow.com. That's mother@MikeO'MaraShow.com. You send us the emails. We'll share our first one tomorrow and give somebody the prize package for Mother's Day, including Sherry's Berries, which is delicious. That's it. We got to get out of here. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.
Wait, don't go. I need to tell you that MikeO'MaraShow.com/Amazon is perfect for all your online shopping needs. Shop the best way. Shop Amazon. And please go through our website, always open at MikeO'MaraShow.com/Amazon.
Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment.